Last autumn, I was at my granddaughter's school recital. She's 8. She had been talking about it for weeks, and I'd promised I'd be there in the front row. Afterwards, her teacher came over to introduce herself, someone my granddaughter had mentioned by name a dozen times, and I blanked, completely. I smiled, said something vague, and felt the color creep up my neck because I knew that name. It was right there, and it wasn't coming. Then walking to the car, my granddaughter asked me to tell her the story I always tell, about the summer I took her dad camping when he was her age, and I started it, and somewhere in the middle I lost the thread. I repeated myself without realizing. She didn't say anything, but I noticed, and I drove home thinking, this is not the grandfather I intend to be. That evening, I started researching cognitive support supplements seriously for the first time, and Brain Memory Keeper was what I kept coming back to. Today, I'm telling you everything I found. Brain Memory Keeper is a once-daily dietary supplement formulated to support memory recall, mental clarity, and focus in adults. 1 capsule per day taken after breakfast. Small, easy to swallow, no taste or aftertaste. The formula is built around a specific mechanism, supporting acetylcholine EO, the neurotransmitter most directly involved in learning, memory formation, and recall. Rather than a scattershot blend of trendy nootropics, the 7 ingredients in Brain Memory Keeper are each chosen for a documented role in either producing acetylcholine, protecting it, or supporting the broader brain environment that memory depends on. It is manufactured in the United States in a GMP-certified facility, non-GMO, one-time purchase with no auto-subscription or recurring billing. Available exclusively through the official website with refunds processed through Buy Goods, an independent established payment platform. Here is the piece of biology that reframed how I understood my own experience at that recital. Acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter your brain uses to encode and retrieve memories, to form new ones and to access old ones cleanly and quickly. After roughly the age of 45, the brain's ability to produce and maintain adequate acetylcholine levels begins to decline. The enzyme that breaks it down becomes more active. The precursors used to synthesize it become less available in the diet, and the result is exactly what I experienced. Names that should be instant take a beat too long. Stories lose their thread. Words sit on the tip of the tongue instead of arriving when called. Brain Memory Keeper's formula is built specifically to address this. Every ingredient targets 1 or more points in the acetylcholine pathway, production, protection, or the circulatory and cellular environment that makes healthy neurotransmitter function possible. 7 ingredients. Here is what each one does. 1. Alpha-GPC, alpha-glycerylphosphorylcholine. The anchor of the formula. Alpha-GPC is a highly bioavailable form of choline, the direct precursor to acetylcholine. It crosses the blood-brain barrier efficiently and delivers the raw material the brain needs to synthesize the neurotransmitter responsible for memory and learning. Clinical research on alpha-GPC includes trials in adults with age-related cognitive concerns, showing improvements in recall speed and mental clarity with consistent use. No other choline source has its combination of bioavailability and brain-specific delivery. 2. Bacopa monnieri leaf extract. The formula's most time-dependent ingredient, and the one with the deepest research record in human memory specifically. Bacopa's active compounds, bacosides, support the repair and growth of nerve endings in the hippocampus, the brain region most critical for forming new memories. Multiple randomized controlled trials have shown improvements in delayed recall, information processing speed, and working memory with Bacopa supplementation over 8 to 12 weeks. The key word is consistent. Bacopa's effects build gradually. Do not judge this formula at week 2. 3. Ginkgo biloba leaf, 24% extract. The 24% standardized extract matters. It specifies the concentration of flavonol glycosides, the active compounds responsible for ginkgo's effects. Ginkgo improves cerebral blood flow by dilating the fine capillaries that supply the brain with oxygen and glucose. Better circulation means the neurons responsible for memory have the energy and oxygen they need to fire reliably. Ginkgo is also among the most studied botanical compounds in cognitive aging research, with a substantial body of evidence for its role in reducing age-related cognitive slowing. 4. Phosphatidylserine, a phospholipid that forms a critical component of brain cell membranes. It keeps those membranes fluid and responsive, which is essential for neurotransmitter receptors to function properly and for signals between neurons to transfer efficiently. Phosphatidylserine levels in the brain decline with age, and supplementation has been examined in clinical settings specifically for age-related memory concerns. The FDA has permitted a qualified health claim for phosphatidylserine and cognitive function, one of very few dietary supplement ingredients to receive that status. 5. N-acetyl-L-carnitine, HCl, ALCAR. ALCAR supports mitochondrial energy production in brain cells, providing the ATP fuel that neurons need to transmit signals, maintain their structure, and carry out the metabolic work of memory consolidation. It also has antioxidant properties that protect neurons from oxidative damage, which is a primary driver of the cellular decline behind cognitive aging. ALCAR is particularly relevant for the kind of mental fatigue, the afternoon brain fog, the difficulty sustaining concentration that often accompanies age-related cognitive decline. 6. St. John's wort, 0.3% extract flower heads. Included here primarily for its role in mood and neurotransmitter balance rather than direct memory support. Chronic low-level stress and low mood are significant but underappreciated contributors to cognitive decline. When the brain is managing stress, cognitive resources are diverted away from memory and focus. St. John's wort supports a more balanced neurochemical environment that allows memory-supporting processes to function without that constant background interference. Critical note: St. John's wort has well-documented interactions with many prescription medications, antidepressants, blood thinners, certain heart medications, and others. If you are on any prescription drug, a conversation with your doctor before starting is not optional. It is essential. 7. L-glutamine. An amino acid that serves as a precursor to glutamate, the brain's primary excitatory neurotransmitter and a key player in synaptic plasticity, the mechanism underlying learning and long-term memory formation. L-glutamine also supports the gut-brain axis, which emerging research increasingly links to cognitive function and mental clarity. Its inclusion rounds out the formula's support for the broader neurochemical environment rather than focusing solely on the acetylcholine pathway. Brain Memory Keeper is sold exclusively through the official website. One bottle, $69. A 30-day supply at the highest per bottle cost. 3 bottles, $177 total, at $59 per bottle. A 90-day supply, the minimum window for Bacopa's effects to properly develop. 6 bottles, $294 total, at $49 per bottle. The best per unit value and the package most aligned with the brand's recommended evaluation timeline. Given that Bacopa Monnieri, the formula's most time-sensitive ingredient, consistently shows its strongest results in research at the 8 to 12 week mark, the 3-bottle bundle is the rational minimum for a genuine evaluation. Verify current pricing on the official site before ordering. Brain Memory Keeper is backed by a 60-day, no-questions-asked money-back guarantee. If you are not satisfied with your results, contact the U.S.-based support team within 60 days for a full refund. Refunds are processed through Buy Goods, an independent, accountable platform. One honest note: 60 days is inside the 8 to 12 week window Bacopa takes to show its strongest effects. Go in knowing that. Evaluate your early progress fairly, and if you want a fuller trial, the 3-bottle bundle gives you the supply to do it. Always verify the current guarantee terms on the official website at checkout. So, am I a sharper grandfather now than I was that evening in the car park? After about 9 weeks of consistent daily use, yes. Names come more readily. Stories hold together from beginning to end. The slight delay between thinking and speaking. The moment where I used to feel the word slipping happens less often and less acutely. I am not going to overstate it. I am 63, not 30. But the gap between the grandfather I was at that recital and the one I want to be has meaningfully closed. And for me, that is enough to recommend this formula, honestly. The link to the official Brain Memory Keeper website is in the description and pinned in the comments. That is the only authorized source. If you are on any prescription medication, please speak with your doctor first because of the St. John's wort. If this review helped you, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.